Hey guys, this is Carthonasty Gaming, and today I decided to take a little different route than the usual Minecraft Let's Play that I've been doing recently. Today I decided to do a mod showcase for one of my favorite mods for Minecraft, the Much TNT mod. And right now we are here inside of the Carthonasty Gaming Bomb Storage and Armory, and here is where I'm going to show you the crafting recipes for each of the different TNTs that this mod adds in. So let's get started. Oh. I didn't go there. Oh well. Okay, we start over here. Alright, so the first ones I'm going to show you are the utility TNTs. And I call them that mostly because you have to have one of these TNTs, at least one, or normal TNT to create any of the other TNTs. So the first utility TNT is the TNT times 5, and you craft it by putting 4 normal pieces of TNT into a crafting bench or your inventory. Now to get the TNT times 20, you do 4 TNT times 5s. The times 100 is 4 TNT times 20s. And the TNT times 500 is 4 TNT times 100s. And I'm going to be showing you what each of these TNTs does after I show you all the crafting recipes and after we get out to the blast site. Alright, and the last one that I'm going to consider to be a utility TNT is the compact TNT. And I call it a utility TNT just because there are 3 or 4 different TNTs that you need compact TNT to make, and one of them you actually need 7 pieces of compact TNT to make it. So to make compact TNT, you take a piece of TNT times 5 and surround it by normal TNT. Now the next group of TNT that I'm going to show you are the house TNTs. There are 3 different tiers of house TNT, each one requiring more valuable materials to make. The first one is the house TNT. You need 5 pieces of cobblestone, a crafting table, 2 pieces of glass, and a TNT times 5 to get the house TNT. And then the next upgrade, the first upgrade for that is the wood house TNT. To make it, you need 1 house TNT, 2 gold ingots, and 6 wooden planks, and it can be any kind of wooden plank, spruce, birch, jungle, or whatever makes you happy. And then the final upgrade for the house TNT is the brick house TNT. To make it, you need 1 wood house TNT, 2 diamonds, and 6 bricks, and you will get the brick house TNT. And what those TNTs do is basically you set them off and it spawns in a little house that you can use. Now these 2 TNTs are the flat bomb TNTs. The first one is the classic flat bomb TNT. You need a TNT times 20 and a piece of obsidian. And then the upgrade upon that is the mining flat bomb. To make it, you need a flat bomb, 2 TNT times 5, and 6 torches, and you will get the mining flat bomb. Now the next ones I made are 2 pairs of TNTs that are basically upgrades of each other. The first one is the chemical TNT. To make it, you need 1 TNT times 100, a piece of redstone, 1 piece of gunpowder, and a water bucket. And that will give you chemical TNT. And then if you combine a chemical TNT and a compact TNT, you will get a reaction TNT, which is an upgraded version of the chemical TNT. Now the next one is the ender bomb. To make the ender bomb, you need a single piece of normal TNT and an ender pearl. And then the upgrade upon that is the gravity TNT. To make the gravity TNT, you take a single ender bomb and you combine it with an apple, for whatever reason. Alright? And now, this next set are basically ones that can counter each other out. The first one is the ocean TNT. To make it, you need 1 TNT times 100 and 4 water buckets. And the way to clean up the mess that's caused by the the ocean TNT is with a lot of vaporized TNT. And to make vaporized TNT, you need 1 TNT times 20 and 4 empty buckets. Now the next set of canceling TNT is the snow TNT and the fire TNT. To make snow TNT, you take a single piece of TNT times 5 and you combine it with a snow block. And to make fire TNT, you take a piece of TNT times 5 and you combine it with a piece of flint and steel. A piece of it. Alright, now we're over to the other side. And this is the chest of Chaos and Destruction TNTs. Alright, the first Chaos and Destruction TNT, and I'm going to show you a few of these TNTs afterward because they make my game crash. I'll show you those at the end. But the first one is the Meteor TNT. To create the Meteor TNT, you need 1 TNT times 500, a lava bucket, and 7 pieces of obsidian. Now the next Chaos and Destruction TNT is the Hellfire TNT. To make the Hellfire TNT, you need 1 Fire TNT, 2 TNT times 20, and 2 Gas Tiers. And then the next Chaos and Destruction TNT is the Nuclear TNT. The Nuclear TNT is very impressive, but it's also relatively expensive to make. To make it, you'll need 1 block of gold, 4 pieces of glowstone, and 4 TNT times 20, and that'll give you a Nuclear TNT. And then the next one is the Erupting TNT. To make the Erupting TNT, you need 1 Compact TNT and 1 Fire Charge. There's another one that I could consider to be a Chaos and Destruction TNT, but I grouped it with the other Firework TNTs just because that's the whole concept behind that piece of TNT. We'll get to it later. Alright, these next TNTs I consider to be utility TNTs. The first one is the Cubic TNT. To make Cubic TNT, you need 1 TNT times 5 surrounded by 8 pieces of cobblestone. And then the next useful TNT, I can't really call it utility because I've already used that, but it's the Multiply TNT. To make it, you need 1 TNT times 5, 4 bone meal, and 4 gold ingots, and that'll give you Multiply TNT. Now to make the Floating TNT, which is the next useful piece of TNT, and be careful, it'll make your game lag out, you'll see that in a bit. To make Floating TNT, you need 1 TNT times 20 and 1 feather. And the next piece of TNT, and honestly one of the coolest ones, is the Floating Island TNT. To make the Floating Island TNT, you need 2 pieces of Multiply TNT and 1 piece of Floating TNT. Now we're on to the Firework TNTs. And this is the other one that could be considered the Chaos and Destruction. That is the TNT Firework. To make the TNT Firework, you need 7 pieces of Compact TNT, 1 TNT times 5, and a Firework Star. And then the other Firework TNT is the Sand Firework. To make the Sand Firework, you need 1 TNT times 5, 1 Firework, and 7 pieces of sand. And now these ones, I guess, are more useful pieces of TNT. The first one is the Digging TNT. To make the Digging TNT, you need 2 TNT times 5 and a water bucket. And then to get the Drilling TNT, you're going to need a single piece of Digging TNT combined with a TNT times 100. And the next one is the Ghost TNT. To make the Ghost TNT, you're going to need 1 piece of TNT times 20, a milk bucket, and that'll give you the Ghost TNT. And then the last piece of useful TNT, as I call them, is the Animal TNT. To make the Animal TNT, you need 1 piece of TNT, 1 raw beef, 1 raw pork chop, 1 piece of raw chicken, and 1 piece of rotten flesh. And you'll see why that particular TNT is really useful when we set it off. These are the last 3 pieces of TNT that didn't really fit in anywhere else. The first one is the Freeze TNT. To make Freeze TNT, you need 1 TNT times 20, 1 water bucket, and a snowball. And then the other one is the Timer TNT. To make the Timer TNT, you need 1 TNT times 5 and 1 piece of redstone arranged in this little configuration here. And then there is one other piece of TNT. It's called the Easter egg. I'm not sure if there's a way to craft it. I've been looking online for a while and I haven't been able to find one. So if someone can find it, then post it in the comments and I'll tack it on as a thumbnail right around here, whatever I can do. Alright, now that I've shown you all the crafting recipes for the TNT, now it's time for the fun part. We're gonna blow them up. Alright, I'll see you guys down at the blast site. Hey guys, and we're back down here at the quote-unquote blast site. And now it's time for the fun part of this mod showcase, setting off a ton of pieces of TNT. Alright, so we're going to be going in no particular order for the TNTs, other than the fact that the ones that make my game crash are going to be saved for the end. For those ones, I'm going to set them, and I'm going to show me setting them off, and then I'm going to skip ahead to the devastation that is a result of setting off the piece of TNT. Because if I try and keep the recording going through the crash, the video up to that point will be corrupted. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first piece of TNT that we are going to be setting off is just a classic piece of TNT for those of you who haven't already seen one go off. And here is a single piece of TNT. It's been too long since I heard that wonderful little sound. Alright, so the next piece of TNT that we're going to set off is the timer TNT. Now, what this piece of TNT does is it's essentially a more intelligent piece of TNT that has a lot longer fuse on it. So you can see it's blinking between the blue and the green states. That's basically saying you have a good amount of time to get away. The yellow means it's going to be blowing up in probably 5 seconds. The red means you need to get away as soon as you can. And it's off. And as you can see, it's a slightly more powerful version of the normal TNT. Alright, so the next piece of TNT we're going to be setting off is a TNT times 5. This is what you get when you combine 4 pieces of normal TNT in a crafting area. And here we go. Right. You combine the timer TNT with the TNT times 5. You can see the TNT times 5 has a little bit more destructive power than the timer TNT does. Alright, and the next one we're going to be setting off is the animal TNT. This is the one that you get when you combine all those really obscure ingredients with a single piece of TNT. And why it's really useful is because it spawns in 2 of every mob in the game, save for some of the really new ones, like wither skeletons, and it also doesn't spawn in any bosses. But it's really useful because it makes it so that you can, say, collect blaze rods really early on. You can have mushrooms that you can work with. You can have some wolves if you want to tame them. It gives you a really easy way of getting the drops from any mob really early in the game. Alright, so we're gonna fly away from here just so that we don't have these guys messing up with our name. Messing with our FPS. Alright, so the next piece of TNT is the sand firework. This piece of TNT, in my opinion, is kind of lame. It's a neat idea, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. It flies up in the air, and it drops sand everywhere. You know, kind of neat. A nice little troll if you've got some friends who have a really big city. You can just send a ton of pieces of random sand everywhere. And it's actually relatively powerful when you use a lot of them at once. My friend decided it would be funny to, on his PC, set off 10 pieces of sand firework at once, and it made his game crash. So, as long as you're careful, you should be fine. Now, the next piece of TNT, and honestly, what I think is the coolest piece of TNT, is the floating island TNT. I'm going to show you what it does right now. If you don't remember, this is what happens when you combine a floating TNT with 2 multiply TNT. Now, what happens, you may ask? Obviously, we've got a giant shadow here. But as you can see, what the floating island TNT does is it takes the ground beneath it, whatever the blast radius would have been, and it basically creates a giant floating version of it. So it's a really nice way to get yourself a floating little base that you can get up to relatively quickly. So if you put it next to some water, you can just do it like that. You've got yourself a nice little water ladder going up. Alright, and honestly, I think it's really cool because something that you can keep doing is you can make a floating island of the floating island. It's a really easy way to build up to the build limit if you really feel the need. Alright, and as you can see, we now have a floating island above the floating island. And you could just keep doing this over and over and over again if you really wanted to. Alright, but we're not going to do that because we don't have time for that yet. Alright, the next one I'm going to set off is the TNT firework. Now, this is the result of the sand firework. To know what the TNT firework does, basically take all that sand and replace it with pieces of TNT. You'll see what I mean right about now. It comes off and it releases a ton of pieces of TNT that come dropping down to the earth and destroy everything. As you can see, there is a giant wake of chaos and destruction here left by the TNT firework. And unless you're careful, this TNT could easily make your computer, your game, or whatever you're using crash really easily. So be careful. It managed to crash a full-blown gaming desktop with 4 pieces at once. Alright, so the next piece of TNT that we're going to be showing you is the gravity TNT. Now to show you what exactly it does, we're going to spawn in a couple creepers. Just because creepers are fun and they fit in with the theme of explosions. Alright, so this is the gravity TNT. Now remember, to make this you need an ender bomb and an apple. Now just watch. See, it sucks in all mobs that are nearby into it, and it shoots them all up. Shoots them up like 200 blocks. And then they come crashing to the ground. Really, really cool, easy way to kill some mobs that, take damage from falls. Just because we don't want to have to deal with the mobs spawning. Alright, so the next piece of TNT that we're going to be setting off, we're going to call in a new row. Alright, the next one we're going to set off is the nuclear TNT. Alright, now this one has a relatively long fuse, so you have time to get away. And in case you're not smart enough to take the warning, it also launches you away at high speed. As you can see, it shot me 400 blocks in the air. And now I'm following those 400 blocks. And there we are. Now, the nuclear TNT in itself really doesn't do much. If I can get to the blast site, wherever is it? Right here, you can see that there are a whole lot of random holes in the ground, and the main damage caused by the nuclear TNT is the fact that it drops all of this radioactive waste. Now, this radioactive waste, whenever a mob is on it, it is going to take damage, as you can see in the case of that dumb little spider over there. Right, the spider just died from the radioactive waste. Really interesting. Now, to get away from this giant site of death and chaos and destruction, we're going to use an ender bomb. Now, many of you are familiar with what ender pearls do. They teleport you to a location. The ender bomb simply repels you away from the location you're currently at. And it does it in quite a spectacular fashion. So, unless you have some way to prevent all the fall damage, I wouldn't use this in survival mode. So next TNT that we're going to be showing is the digging TNT. Now this one is made by using 2 TNT times 5s and a water bucket. And it's a real useful way to start a mine. As you can see, it digs a hole down probably 50 blocks and leaves 3 blocks of water down at the bottom so you won't take fall damage when you jump down. It's an easy way to start getting lower. But hey, we're not satisfied with a 1 block hole. We're not noobs here. Alright, so we're going to set off a piece of drilling TNT. For those of you who recall, this piece of TNT is made by using a piece of digging TNT with a TNT times 100. Now basically, it's taking the the digging TNT and putting it on steroids. Now you've got a giant hole with a lot of water at the bottom. You've got squids here, and you've got a whole lot of different stuff here. And now this is actually a perfect time for me to explain what this ore is here. And I'll go into survival to show you what it is. To show you what exactly it does. This here is sulfur ore. It's an ore added in by the mod, and what it does is when you mine it up with a stone pick or better, it drops 5 pieces of gunpowder. Now this ore makes it relatively easy to create all of these TNTs here. Well, it makes it a lot easier anyway. Alright, but that's what that little thing is. That is the sulfur ore. It just drops 5 pieces of gunpowder whenever you mine it up. And it can be found, honestly, relatively high, and it's a little more common than gold is. Alright, so the next piece of TNT we're going to show off is the ghost TNT. And now I'm really just going to let this one speak for itself. Where did it go? What it does is it disappears or goes ethereal or whatever you want to think of, and then it goes into the ground and it explodes like 30 blocks in. As you can see, a decent sized explosion. Basically, it can be used for mining holes that are down below where you would prefer for them to be. It's more of an aesthetic piece of TNT more than anything. I still think it's really cool though. The next piece of TNT we're going to be shutting off is the multiply TNT. Now what it does is it takes any block that it blows up in the area, and it makes like 3 copies of it. 3 or 2 copies of it. Now, for those of you who are thinking of using it to duplicate valuable materials like diamond blocks or gold blocks or iron blocks, don't waste your time. Anything that's considered valuable in the game, it's not going to duplicate. So we're going to do some blocks of gold, blocks of iron, and blocks of diamond around a piece of multiply TNT. Okay. Little iron ring around it. And we'll do a ring of gold around it. And then to finish it all off, a ring of diamonds around it. Alright, so let's think. We would need 8 pieces of iron, 8 iron blocks. 5, 10, 16 gold blocks, and 6, 12, 22 diamond blocks. Alright, so now we're going to set this off. And off it goes. Alright, now we collect all the materials it dropped. Alright, obviously it missed a couple of the pieces of diamond, a couple of the diamond blocks, but we needed 24 blocks of diamond. Oh, wait. Oh, it actually does delete some of the blocks. See, it doesn't duplicate any of the valuable materials like diamond blocks, iron blocks, and gold blocks. And it actually does destroy some of the blocks around it. So if you're gonna try and use it to exploit something, just be warned it doesn't actually work on blocks of valuable stuff. Alright? So the next one I'm gonna show you is the cubic TNT. Assuming the rain will go away. No one likes you, Rain. No one likes you. Alright. Anyway. Alright, this piece of TNT is really useful for you people with OCD, or for those of you that just want a pretty little explosion to look at. Now I'm just going to let it do what it does. Cubic TNT, every single time will blow up a 5x5x5 hole. Very, very nice. Alright. So the next one we're going to be using is the erupting TNT. Now we were using this as the replacement for the TNT firework in the Chaos and Destruction TNT. Shoots a ton of pieces of TNT up, and each one blows up and hits the ground with a nice little explosion. Really, really nice for those of you who just want to see a big old ruined area. It's really nice. Alright, and now the next two that I'm going to show you are the chemical TNT and the reaction TNT. The chemical TNT is the lower tier of the two chemical TNTs. Alright, it jumps up, smashes the ground, and it just starts dropping more and more pieces of TNT, going down, 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 and goes down about here. Alright, you can see that this is about what the chemical TNT does. It's pretty powerful, but you also have to keep in mind it's powered by a TNT times 100. And now we have the reaction TNT, which is the combination of a chemical TNT with a compact TNT. And now we're going to want to step back a bit. It goes off and it releases a ton of pieces of chemical TNT and makes you lag really bad. It makes you lag really bad. But as you can see, a glorious area of destruction here. It almost sets off like a flower-like pattern of destruction every time. You can see it goes just about as deep as the chemical TNT does. Now that was the reaction TNT. Alright, now the next ones I'm going to show you are the 3 house TNTs. Because obviously we're getting tired and we need a place to rest for the night. Alright, so the first one is the house TNT. This is the lowest tier of the 3, and it simply gives you a weeny little cobblestone house. Da-da-da-da! Little cobblestone house, complete with glass on both sides, gives you a little fence gate to enter in, gives you a crafting table, a few free torches, and, yeah, it's a cute little house. Alright, we're not satisfied with a cobblestone house, right? We gotta make a wood house like everybody does. Alright, and that's what the wood house TNT does. It's basically taking the same design and replacing all the cobblestone with wood, surprisingly. But the wood house TNT also has something to offer. It gives you a free bed, and it gives you a furnace as well as everything else that the house TNT gave you. And then the last upgrade on that is the brick house TNT. The brick house TNT, I mean, it's a useful little TNT if you've got a couple spare diamonds on you. I don't know if I would consider it worth it, in my opinion. Instead of using a brick floor, it gives you a wool floor, so you've got a free source of wool here. Well, free, I mean you have to find the diamonds. It gives you the crafting table, the furnace, and the double chest right here. So it's a nice little way for you to get a fully furnished house in a pinch. I mean, if you've got diamonds, you probably already have a fully furnished house, but I digress. Alright, now let's set up our next line of TNTs here. Alright, we're nearing the end, actually. Alright, I think now is probably time for us to grab that Easter egg TNT before I forget. Alright, so now the next one we're going to show you is the freeze TNT. Most of you can probably guess what this TNT does, but for those of you who can't, I'll just show you. Bam! It creates a giant ice rink for you to use. Now this ice rink isn't a single block deep, it's actually like 10 blocks of ice deep. I didn't actually count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks of ice deep. And it gives you a nice little ice rink that you can use in front of your brick house over here. Almost like you have yourself a little cottage. Alright, next one I'm going to show you is the floating TNT. Now, I'm going to warn you, this one's going to make my laptop lag a little bit. So, here goes. The floating TNT floats up, and then it releases a super powerful explosion. Come on. You can do it. And there it goes. 10-second lag, and it leaves a giant wake of destruction here. As you can see, it even nicked our brick house over here. It got rid of one of the blocks over there. It's a relatively irregular explosion, but it's really powerful. And if you used it right, you could bury it down a couple blocks so it would float up. And so the center of the explosion would be at the ground, and it would be devastating. Alright, so the next pieces of TNT I'm going to show you are the fire TNT and the snow TNT. Now first off, the fire TNT, for those of you who can probably guess by the particle effects, it just creates a giant field of fire, as you can tell. And it makes a really pretty particle little sensation over there. And it also makes you lag really bad. I just want to see if that snow TNT lags by fire. Oh, fine. Right. And now we have the snow TNT. We're going to see if this works this time. As you can see, the snow TNT basically dropped snow wherever there wasn't already fire. We're going to give you a better demonstration over here because I thought it would work. I thought that the snow would cover up the fire. But either way, here is the snow TNT completely, you know, in its majesty. Bam! Free snowfield right there. So you can just keep gathering some snow, mine up some sulfur, and you can make even more snow TNT. Alright, so the next one I'm going to show you is the ocean TNT. Actually, no, we'll show you the Hellfire TNT, and then the ocean TNT, and then the vaporized TNT. Alright, but the next one is the Hellfire TNT. Now, the Hellfire TNT, if you recall, required 2 gas tiers to make. And you'll see why in a second. That can't be good. And off it goes. Right, as you can see, it sets off a portal. It's almost like a mini nether biome in your world. That's why it requires the gas tiers, because obviously it has to summon the gas, and it has to prove that you have indeed been to the nether. Alright, so to clean up this mess, we are going to set up a piece of ocean TNT. What the ocean TNT does is basically it's doing what the The Hellfire TNT did, but it's replacing like all the lava with water. Oh, well that really didn't work. Hang on here. This will probably work better. Build it way up here. Bam. Bam, like that. Grab a bow so I can shoot these ghasts. And... oh god. Bam. There went the ocean TNT. It's turning all of that lava into little pieces of obsidian for us. Obviously creating a little bit of lag. And now it's our job to kill these ghasts. Because, you know, ghasts are irritating. Get over here! Stop flying away! Stop flying away! Get back here! Oh! Oh! Get wrecked! Get wrecked! Dang it. Of course, it's raining. Again. I will get you. I will end you. I will destroy you. Oh my god. You will be ended. Die! Thank you. Okay. Alright, now to clean up the mess that we made with this ocean TNT, we're gonna set off a couple pieces of vaporized TNT. Now, basically what it does is it sucks up any fluid that's around it. Whether it be water, lava, or anything that's added in by some super obscure mod that you may or may not have. As you can see, vaporized TNT sucked up a ton of the water that was left by the ocean TNT. Right, we're going to set off another piece right here, just like that. Starting to clean up this little area here. Alright, for now, we're just going to leave this place simply because we don't have the time to clean it all up right now. We're almost near the end, people. This is almost it. I honestly think we're down to the final row. Yeah, we are. Alright. So, I think the next one I'm going to show you is going to be... I'm going to have to reorganize these. Alright. So the next one I'm going to show you is the Easter egg TNT. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, this one may or may not make my game crash. So, here goes. Easter egg TNT. As you can see, when it's set off, it sets off a little message, BSMPM. Now, careful. It sets off a ton more pieces of Easter egg TNT. It makes your game lag really bad for a second. But you have a giant bounty of melons and pumpkins. Really, really useful. I mean, if there's a crafting recipe, someone please tell me, because I would love to have it. Alright. And now up is the compact TNT. Now, if you remember, this is the one where you take a TNT times 5 and surround it by TNT, and you'll see why when it goes off. It explodes, leaves a ton of pieces of TNT surrounded by fire. They all set off, they set each other off, and it's a glorious explosion. It's glorious. So beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you guys is the flat bomb. Alright, I'm going to dig down a couple of blocks, set it right there, and set it off. Now you can probably guess what this does just because of the crafting recipe. It sets off a big explosion here, leaving a circle, and it destroys everything above it. Only stuff that's above it, though. Here, I'll show you again over here. Only like 3 blocks down, though, this time. So that you can see its full majesty. Off it goes. You got yourself a cute little hole right here. Alright, now next up is the mining flat bomb. It's really similar to the flat bomb, except that it would be used more for mining than the flat bomb would. Hence its name, mining flat bomb. And you'll see why. Right, as you can see, it leaves you a big old circle down here, about 5 blocks high, and it leaves torches everywhere. So it's a good way to start a mine. You've got like in our case, we didn't really get anything lucky, but we have some iron over here. Some people get lucky and find mine shafts. They find some more valuable ores like gold and redstone and stuff. It's really useful for like if you're just starting to mine. All right, we're down to the final 4 TNTs. All right, the first one is the TNT times 20. All right, this one is just the result of combining 4 TNT times 5, and it's just a nice big explosion. All right, it's got a bit longer fuse because you want to get away. And there it goes. That is a TNT times 20 explosion. Pretty impressive right there. All right, but we can do one better. All right, we're going to set off a piece of TNT times 100. All right. So this TNT is the result of combining 4 TNT times 20. So here we go. Bam. There we go. Oh boy. We're going to fly a ways away just so we don't get lagged out. So here we go. Boy, you can do it. There it goes. Alright, 15 seconds later, we finally get a result. And the TNT times 100 has certainly delivered to us. We've got ourselves a big old hole right here, along with splash explosion way around here. Alright, and now these next two pieces of TNT, the TNT times 500 and the Meteor TNT, are going to make my computer crash. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the TNT and I'm going to set it off, and then I'm going to cut to a picture of the results of the explosion of each piece of each of these pieces of TNT. And I think we're gonna set off the TNT times 500 in this little village here. Sorry, certificates, it's nothing against you. Wait, it kind of is. All right, here we go. I'll see you guys in a bit. Whoa. Okay then. So now you guys see what the TNT times 500 can do. Oh my goodness. There's like nothing left. Oh my gosh! Those houses on the outside are still intact, and so is the villager. That one villager is still alive. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Okay. So that was just the TNT times 500. Right? And now, to close out, we've got our final piece of TNT. And that is the Meteor TNT. And to set it off, we're going to go far away from there. Oh, look. It's the place where we set off the Easter egg TNT. Okay. But what the Meteor TNT does is when you set it off, it'll disappear. But what it's really doing is it's summoning a meteor from the sky. And what it's going to do is it's going to come down and it is going to destroy everything. And we're going to do it on our little house TNT villa cottages here. Alright? So here we go. Place it, set it off, and I'll see you guys in the aftermath. Hey guys, we're in the bottom of the aftermath of that Meteor TNT now. Here, I'll just fly up and let you see it. There are diamonds down there, by the way. That's what the Meteor TNT did. It carved a giant bowl out of the entire ground. I could barely see it float all the way up. And actually, when I spawned in, I was flying upwards really, really fast. And then I fell all the way down into this thing. It was ridiculous. Look at this. Alright. But thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a showcase for the Too Much TNT mod. And this is Carthonassi Gaming, signing off.